Hey guys, it's Brennan here. I am so excited that the AI party is behind us. I'm so excited that we have the Agent Charlie ready to go. I know there's been all sorts of excitement about the new product. People have been using it, people wanting to know more, how to utilize it. So, what we're going to do on this call is we're going to simply focus everything on using the product, using the capabilities, creating new things. Now, before we jump into that, I want everyone to understand kind of how this works. So the agent is a combination of a bunch of different technologies. So think about the agent is a brain layer that learns you over time, that improves over time, and is constantly learning new things that it can do. So we have a whole bunch of tooling in the background. So whenever you type like generate 4 blogs about XYZ topic and use these keywords, Charlie learns that and improves those outputs over time as you make edits. So all of this is coming into an AI brain. This is not just like people feeding you crap that the thing learns you over time because most AI tools are using OpenAI. This is actually our technology that improves with you, learns you over time. What that also means is that it's a little bit more complex and it's at its infancy, right? This is the worst it will ever be. So it may mean that sometimes you have to change the wording and experiment a little bit with the prompts. It may mean that your some of the capabilities that you knew from the old product aren't quite there yet. That's because it takes a little bit longer to get those into production, but they trust me, they are coming very, very quickly. But what it also means is that we're all going to learn how to have to learn how to prompt a little bit more complexly because we have multiple tools available to us. So what you might do with ChatGPT over the course of 6 threads, you can do in one. So we're going to show you how that works. I'm going to give you a quick run through of what the product is doing, the different capabilities, the different little buttons that you have, and then we're going to run a few prompts. This is meant to be a learning over time situation. We want to give you all of these capabilities, and we will continue to record videos to get you guys up to speed on how to best use the agent. So with that, I'm going to stop talking and we're going to jump into the product. So give me just a second. Here we go. Share my entire screen. Boom, boom. So now we are going into the agent. All right. So we are in the agent. We are live. We're playing around. So we have just logged in. If you may have noticed, you will have log in with Google. And then you also have email. So you put your email in, you get a magic link, you click that link, you come out. If you log in with Google, works the same. Note that on the very first login, you're going to have to give your email and name just because sometimes they don't pass those through from authentication providers. You also have to accept the terms of service. So it serves kind of dual purpose. But from there, you're in the product, right? So your projects are here on the left. Think of projects similar to threads with ChatGPT. You can rename these. You can duplicate the project. So if you have a project you really like for one client, you can duplicate the project. You can also delete them. So if you want to unclutter things, all you have to do is just go in here and delete. Perfect. So that's great. But now whenever you go into these other capabilities that you'll see here on the left panel. So left panel, you can log out. You can upgrade to a paid plan. You have profile, social integration. So this is for distribution purposes. You have your legacy archive. So if you're like me, you click legacy archive. You can go and see some of your old content that you produced on your account. You can see some of your old documents. So this is all information. If you are a previous user before this, you'll be able to access now through the legacy archive. Support, this is just to get in touch with me and the team. And then tutorials, that takes you out to YouTube. Then over here, you have a workspace. So what is important is that you really only have one workspace right now. So over time, we will add more functionalities to workspace, but for now, let's ignore that. We're mostly focused on projects. So how do you create a new project? Well, you just click add project and you have this prompt box. So you have a whole host of different capabilities on this. So first and foremost, you can use one of these suggested prompts. So maybe you don't know what you want to write yet, and you can click one of those. But I think there's some pretty interesting things that you can do here that may not be as apparent as you might think. So first and foremost, let's do one where we use a couple different things all at once. So research recent news in generative AI and create a bulleted list. So as you remember, research is how you get Charlie to go search the web. You can also say search the web. You can say search the news. If you put news, it's going to go into a news searching one. If you put research or search the web, it's going to go more to a traditional search engine. So what this is doing is researching recent news and generative AI, and it's created a bulleted list about all this information. Great, that's awesome. But so now that you've run your single prompt, you're going to have a couple things. First is that prompt that you use is now here. So if you want to make adjustments, you want to create new content with it, all you have to do is click copy, and then you can go paste it either in a new project list or add content. You also see that this top thing is a name. So you're able to name pieces of content within a project. So the hierarchy of your workflow is workspace, project, and then piece of content. So pieces of content, once you're in a project, are going to show up over here. So this was only a one output type task. So now that we have all of these capabilities here and all these outputs, what you can do is you can go down to the local prompt box and you can ask to make edits. So here it functions similar to like a chat-based experience. You can say, expand each of these bullet points with research. And so Charlie will go and take that active piece of content and expand upon it. Now, a couple key functionalities that you might, looks like that one didn't quite work. So what you can do here is click edit, and edit is ultimately going to take this and expand it. So this is meant to make larger edits to the content itself. But if you click create, this is how you can do content repurposing. So effectively, you can use this active text box to ultimately create new content. So that's an important toggle. Edit will overwrite this, whereas create will create new cards. So this will create new cards from here. So let's go back to a project where maybe we've already created some content. So this is some social media posts that I created. So what I can do here is say, okay, this is great. This is an Instagram post. I've created this. Awesome. So what I want to do is take this Instagram post and create a Twitter post. I know some of us still call it Twitter. I still call it Twitter by habit, but it's called X now. But what you can do is you create a brand new card simply by toggling this to create. It'll take the information that you had here and it'll turn it into a tweet instead of an Instagram post. You can also do multi-create from this. So now you can say, create a series of 6 tweets about this. Press enter, Charlie starts painting, and we'll come back with 6 tweets about that content that you'd already previously created. This is really cool if you have a blog that you've already created and you want to turn it into a bunch of different things. So now you have a bunch of tweets here that are available. You can say, actually, I want to turn this tweet into a blog about the generative AI industry and incorporate research of recent news. So what you're starting to see here is that you can get a lot more complex with the prompts that you're giving, a lot more complex with the edits that you're making, a lot more complex with content repurposing. You're giving more context. So here I'm allowed to actually bring research in plus the original piece of content to then create a fresh new piece of content based upon that. So the idea is that you have all of this tooling in the background, and now you can go and create new content. So I've actually incorporated web browsing capability into creating new content in addition to having this as my source content. This is extremely powerful. If you remember the old content repurposing, all you could do is take one piece of content or one asset and use it to create another asset. Here, we're allowing you to do that all at once. You just have to type out what you want to do with it, and Charlie will go make it happen. Now, remember, whenever you use the create button, you will see that the prompt that you use to create this is here. If you use the edit button, what will happen is that it will store the edit thing that you did here. So important to note is that edit will overwrite whatever you create here, whereas create will make a new content card. So that's an important delineation. Now, you may notice that there's a bunch of buttons down here, right? So a bunch of buttons that you see here. So first is this image button. This is just if you want to add an asset to that image. mostly just uploading images, but let's do it for fun just to see how this would work. So this is Alyssa Evans, one of the guest speakers from the AI party. So you upload that. Image assets will now show up here. So you can hide them if you want to have a bigger screen to text with, or you can pop this up so that you can view it in tandem here. If you're creating memes, if you're creating GIFs, if you're generating images, all of those will show up here, not in the actual RTE. Promise you there's a reason. So let's say that maybe you have a smaller screen and you want to make this a little bit bigger. All you have to do is click X, and now this will be centered and you'll have much more space that you can play with. You can scroll through, see all of your content in a little bit better manner. If you want to close out the prompt, you can do that. You can rename as well. But then there's a couple other functionalities, right? So let's go back to this tweet that I created. So this is a great tweet, 372 characters, a little bit longer than I like to make it. So maybe I'm going to say, shorten this by 50%. So Charlie is going to be making these things, should come back with a shortened tweet on the same topic. Great. Now we have this shortened tweet that we're all ready to go on. So if you click this share button, I've already linked my account. And so what I can do is click this button, I click publish, and then it should go ahead and publish to Twitter. Okay, it looks like it doesn't want to play well today, but this ultimately is allowing you to post to Twitter when it's functioning properly. And then Facebook is coming soon, as is Instagram and a couple other platforms that we want to be able to post to. So more to come on that. But the idea is that we want you to be able to go all the way from creating content to posting content right from your app. Now, this button is just for copy. You have back and forth. So let's say that you were making edits here. All you have to do is click this and it will make the edit go away. So you say, maybe I want to say, go Charlie, go. I want to say AI for all. All you do is this, and it will be able to make edits. So if any mistakes that you typed, or if you want to go back and forth, you can do that. That will ultimately undo and redo all of those functions. So that's one of the great ways that you can do this. So let's start to play with some of the other capabilities on this. First, we have this ability for you to paste in web URLs. So a real great way to be able to do that is similar to what we did with content repurposing, except for we can do it all in one prompt. So let's say that we have this. We go into Agent Charlie. This is our new website for those that haven't seen. But basically, you can say, write a post for the new product launch at this URL. So Charlie, we have Go Charlie here. And then we can say, create a post for Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and a product announcement press release. So what's happening here is the website URL comes in. So you no longer have to just like have some box that says URL. Instead, what you can do is just paste the website in there. Now, I know many of you for a long time have asked for the ability to add multiple links. We've added that. All you have to do is post each one of those URLs in. So maybe you want to write a blog about generative AI or about marketing, about best practices for using AI in marketing, something like that. You could go take 3 or 4 different articles at different parts of the web and paste those in and create one piece of content. So this is our post-product launch announcement. This is a press release that we've created. Create a LinkedIn post, a Facebook post, and an Instagram post. These are all awesome, right? So all you have to do to use a URL is simply just paste it into the prompt box. There's no more having to choose URL. There's no more having to choose what asset type it is. You just paste it in. Now, a really cool thing that you could do is let's go back to that project. Let's take this same prompt, right? So we put this here. But then what you can do is you can attach a file, right? So file attachment is pretty interesting. Let's do here. Got it. So what we can do is this. So we've attached a file here and say, write all of this in the style and voice of the attached file. So for those of you that have voice requirements, you have clients that have very strict branding requirements, what you can do is attach those files and ultimately create in the style and voice of that attached file. So instead of having to do brand voice on a global level, if you want to do a specific piece of content, you can do that. Now, we are developing a better brand voice engine than what we previously had. That will come in the coming months. But ultimately, what we're trying to do here is that if you want to create certain posts with the styling of a document, you can. If you want to use information from a document, you can. So this is all the styling. We've used the styling from the attached file, runs perfectly. But let's maybe do something where we want to say, let's use that same file, right? So this is a learning community that we worked with in Germany. So what we're able to do is say, summarize the uploaded document and turn this into a blog about GoCharlie partnering with this organization to bring AI to Germany. So now what we're doing is we're taking this uploaded document, we're taking all the information from it, and we're using that to create additional content. So you can add more prompting capabilities. You can add more additional context. You can add to the file. It's a lot different than, say, a code interpreter or something else where you upload those files and then you can't really do too much operationally with them. We're giving you the ability to free flow with what you want to do. So now we're able to talk about GoCharlie, which it went out to the web and researched. This is not just me putting a whole bunch of information about GoCharlie. It is literally going out to the web, researching what GoCharlie is, bringing that back into the context. So a lot of those web searching capabilities are now coming back into what you want to be able to create in addition to summarizing. So what you're starting to see is that the possibilities of this are limitless. You're literally able to use any type of content. We're adding more audio, we're adding more video, we're adding the YouTube URLs that you guys know and love, and bringing that into the fold and then doing whatever you want with it. The intention here is we're adding a lot more flexibility. We're adding a lot more capabilities of you being able to instruct Charlie and ultimately a richer content experience. In addition, we wanted to make the UI flow a little bit better. So you can create, you can put multi-input, you can put multi-output, but we wanted the AI to feel like your partner in creating. And so that's what the edit and create capabilities are down here. So we've talked a little bit about some of the things you can do with the global prompt. But for those of you that want to create content within the same project, very simple way to do it. Just click add content. This will come up with a new prompt. This is different than that local prompt bar. So this is purely just creating net new content in this same project. So let's say that I have all this information that I want about same organization. I can attach that file and say, I am presenting to the organization discussed in the attached file. What topics do you think I should cover in a discussion of generative AI? So this is a prompt. We gave it a file. We're giving it a question, and it will come back with an answer based upon that. So it's ingesting the file, it's reasoning. It looks like it covered all of these questions, actually. So it gave us back a recommendation. It looks like there was something messed up with the file ingestion, but intriguing nonetheless. What you're able to do is bring every file into the creation space. Now you're able to start anywhere. You're able to create with anything, but this is creating content within a given project. So add content. This button will create from a net new prompt, new information, clean slate. If you're back in the project, this will create over top of this. So this is meant to be an editing tool. If you click create, this will create net new content cards. So create will create net new. And you can see all this in the way that we've described it here. But the idea is that this is allowing you to edit with AI. This is allowing you to create new with AI. And then anytime you start a project, you are creating new with AI. So there is some overlap here, but all of this is intended for you to have a much richer experience where the AI is doing the work for you and not necessarily you having to make major edits. So I'll stop with the demo there. But I wanted to make sure that we gave you guys a little bit more of an in-depth demo. I love the new UI. I think it looks really great. Thank you for those amazing comments. I know that it is a little touchy here. It's a new product. It's a brand new way of thinking and using AI and building AI. We're trying to be AI first. We want to deliver to you guys very unique product experiences. I know that there's some people that said that it's basically just a new chat assistant. I think it's a much more powerful thing than that if you give it a little bit more time to experiment with. I know there's some features that didn't come over from the old product. I assure you those are coming. Now, I will say, I acknowledge there's a trade-off between the flexibility we have given you and the more reliability that you had of just like choosing from a drop-down. This is something that we're experimenting with. So if we find that the product experience is not as rich, which I very much think it's already richer than some of the other things, it just doesn't have some of the multimedia capabilities. If we find that that's the case, then I promise you we'll make adjustments. But the only way that we learn this is through your feedback. So be constructive, be helpful, help us make the product better for you. But we think that this is a new paradigm of AI and how we can create using AI and how we partner with AI to make your product and life experience better. So with that, if there's any questions from the audience, I'm more than happy to address them. There's tons more content that will be coming out in the coming days, so please be on the lookout. But this is just the beginning of this new age. We think that we have something super special here, but the most important part is if there's tooling that you guys want brought into the agent, suggest it. Because what we can do is plug in new tooling over time to where Charlie will literally be a create anything that you need agent. This is super important because now you're going to have all these tools that you can work across. Think if you had like Photoshop, Canva, Jasper, OpenAI's ChatGPT, Anthropic's Claude, everything all in one, and you're able to ultimately use all of those at the same time to create and perform whatever task you want. That's eventually what this product is capable of. It is literally limitless in the capabilities that it can create. So if there's tooling that you want, if there's certain functionalities that you require for your workload, bring them to us. That's ultimately what we are here to do. Doesn't look like there's any questions in the crowd at the current moment. I'm sure there will be over time. This is super exciting. I know this is a culmination of a lot of work, a lot of hard work from the team. So if you're enjoying the product, give us a shout. I know the team would love to hear it. Everybody's been working their ass off to get here. More amazing things to come, but I will share those at a later date. Thank you all for joining in, and more to come. Brendan signing off.